Hello, everyone. Welcome to Love Chat with the Love Twins. I'm Gladys Diaz, and I want to start today with something you've probably never thought about, but it can make the difference in attracting the right partner. So, I want you to think about it this way. You would never hire someone for your team at work in your business without first checking their track record, maybe looking up what their history is, are the results that they've produced, right? You wouldn't invest $1 in an investment without reading the fine print first. And you would never bring on a business partner, excuse me, without asking the hard questions about how they handle pressure, how they handle conflict, what's their follow through like, right? You run due diligence. That's the point, right? You run due diligence on almost everything, every area of your life, except one thing. Except one thing. And you've probably never sat down and took an audit on yourself as what kind of partner you are in a relationship. There is so much focus put on what kind of partner he's going to be, what kind of person he's going to be, what he's going to do, what he's not going to do. Tonight, we're going to do a self audit, judgment-free audit. I got to say that because the voice in your head goes berserko and starts judging you, making you wrong. That's not what tonight's about. Tonight's about how do I become that person that I want to be in a relationship with. So I can have it in the relationship with myself, and I can attract a person who is a match for that. So stay with me for the next 20 minutes or so, because by the end of today's session, I'm going to give you the exact 3 questions to ask yourself that most women have never asked themselves, not even one of them. And if they have they answered it authentically? So you want to make sure you stay till the end, because I'm going to drop all that gold right at the end. Okay. So if this is something that you can see, wow, I do spend a lot of my time thinking about the other person, who they're going to be, what they're going to be like, if they're right for me, if they're not right for me, and you haven't really done that internal self audit to the level, listen to the disclaimer, to the level that you've done it for him, then go ahead and put yes in the chat. If you know that you've spent more time defining what you want in your partner than defining who you're being in love, who you're being in a romantic relationship. I love to see that in the chat. Just drop a yes. Remember, we cannot transform something we're unable or unwilling to see. And the more clearly we see, the more clearly we can attract what it is that we want in our love life. So if you're watching this on replay in all of the different platforms, we're on about 3 or 4 platforms, go ahead and put yes in the chat so we can come back and have a conversation with you about that. All right. And then I would love to know at the end of the call, if you're going to ask yourself at the end of the session, if you're going to ask yourself the questions that I'm going to give you at the end. All right. So when we spend so much time focused on the person, either the person that we're wanting to attract or the person that we are in a relationship with already, it's not that you don't want to have a vision for your love life, a vision for the kind of relationship that you want. The thing is that a lot of people turn a vision into a checklist. And that checklist, that audit, right, is really just trying. I've said this before, it is a list of fears. I'm afraid that if the person is this or isn't that, then I'm not going to have the happiness that I want. I'm afraid that if the person has been married or hasn't been married, has children, hasn't been children, or hasn't had children, has been in a long-term relationship or hasn't, has been single for a long time or hasn't worked. There's all this assessing that we're doing. And the thing is that while it's important to make sure that you have a great vision for love and that you are focused on your vision, when you focus on criteria, when you focus on this audit and it's all external, all the energy is going to the other person, then all the power goes over there too. And we want to make sure that you're constantly staying in your power. So there's a gap that exists between focusing on myself as a partner and focusing on another person as a partner. And when you look at this gap, it's not because you're not self-aware. It's not because you haven't been willing to look within. You are. It's because almost every conversation that's happening out there about love, whether it's a podcast, a video, every book, every dating coach, every girls' night out, is pointing in one direction. And the direction it's pointing at is almost always over there. What does he need to bring? What standard does he need to meet? Is he emotionally available? Is he consistent? Is he trustworthy? And not very many successful women are asking the other half of the question. And this is all, I mean, this is important. There's actually research on this and what the research on this is showing, it's really interesting, is showing that psychologists who study how we evaluate partners have found that we're consistently running a checklist against that person, against him, the person sitting across from you on the table, whether he's a date, a potential partner, or your actual partner. And we're doing it automatically. It is happening automatically. And what almost nobody studies and nobody practices is turning that same quality audit back on ourselves to see, if I'm not attracting the kind of person that I want to be with, if I'm in a relationship with someone that I'm wondering, are we a match? I get to look at myself and say, am I being everything that I want my partner to be? Would I want to be in a relationship with me? Would I be head over heels in love with me? Okay. So I want to be clear. I've said it already, but I'm going to say it probably several more times, because the brain's typical reaction is to start going to looking for fault, looking for blame. And a lot of times it's going to look for it over here. Oh, it's my fault that I haven't attracted the person, or shaming or blaming or judging yourself. None of that works towards creating the kind of relationship that you want. It's just such a useless, judging another person and judging yourself is a waste of your time. So this isn't about self-blame. This is about ownership, like owning your choices, owning who you are. And if you see something that you would like to change, that you wouldn't want to see in a partner, doing the work to transform it. So then you can attract the partner who's a match for what you do want. Because the relationship that you attract and that you build isn't only decided by who you choose to be your partner. That's not the only thing that's making that choice. It's shaped by who you are before the relationship and inside of it. So both things are important. So there are 3 specific moments where the truth about how you actually show up gets revealed, right? So if you haven't started taking, it says that I frozen. I requested to be told if I froze. I do not want to talk if I'm freezing. So Ali, it's okay if your voice comes up.
You're not freezing, Gladys.
Thank you. Because I saw it in the chat. Thank you. Feel free to interrupt me. Like, you can find a pause and then we'll take it out of the recording. But all right. So Cynthia, I hope that it's fixed itself, because this is really important. If you haven't been taking notes up until now, now is the time to take out a piece of paper or take out your notes app on your phone and write this down. There are 3 specific moments where the truth about how you actually show up gets revealed, whether you're paying attention to it or not. This happens, like I said before, automatically. So moment number 1 is when you're under stress, when you're hurt or you're frustrated or you've been disappointed, an unmet expectation. You want to ask yourself, what do I actually do in those moments? So do I say what I need to say out loud in a respectful way? Or, because that's one thing, is some people will either go completely quiet and then expect your partner to figure out what it is that you're feeling or thinking, which is not fair unless he's psychic, or blowing up and being disrespectful. Those are the 2 the 2 polar extremes of the spectrum: shutting down and not saying anything about how you're feeling, or blowing up and saying it in a way that is disrespectful. Because if you're being disrespectful, guess what you're going to attract? People who disrespect you, and you don't want that, right? I'm asserting that nobody wants that in their relationship, okay? In their, whether it's a dating experience or an actual loving relationship, okay? So unless he's psychic, and even if he is, you still get to speak what's there for you. You don't expect that other person to know what's going on in your mind. And if you're going to speak it, then it's important to learn how to speak it respectfully and in a way that your partner can hear you so he doesn't tune out or shut down himself. Okay. Moment number 2. So the first one was under stress. The second one might sound a little strange, but it's under affection. Right? That's another condition. When somebody offers you love, a compliment, a gesture, a gift, real attention, real affection, you want to ask yourself, do you receive it freely? Like, do you just receive it, say thank you with grace and gratitude? Or do you deflect it? Do you brush it away? Do you minimize it? Do you get really busy and avoid it? Or find something wrong with it? Like, he's being so nice, he must be needy, right? Like, there must be something wrong with him if he always does what he says he's going to do. Like, why does he call me 3 times a day? Meanwhile, the last guy you were with, you were upset that he didn't call you 3 times, like 1 time every 3 days, right? So are you receiving affection, attention, love? Are you deflecting it, minimizing it, or pushing it away? Okay. And then the third condition is under disagreement. So when you and your partner or the person that you're dating with don't see eye to eye, you're not on the same page, you're in disagreement, do you stay curious and connected? Understanding you don't have to be persuaded, nor do you need to persuade. Convinced, nor do you have to convince, right? Do you stay curious and connected, or do you go into protection mode, that same mode that's probably served you well in a boardroom, maybe to question and analyze and and break it down? Well, that works well in the boardroom when there's something to strategic, right? Something that strategically needs to be like a post-mortem meeting, right? You don't want your dates to be a post-mortem meeting. You don't want to analyze it and break it down. And you also don't want to, in a disagreement, make the other person feel wrong for his or her opinion any more than you want to be made to feel wrong for your own opinion, your own ideas. Okay. So these 3 moments, under stress, under affection, and under disagreement, are the 3 moments where patterns live. It's where your natural tendencies come out. It's where the learned behavior, that's what a pattern is, a learned, persistent, continuous behavior. So it's not in what you say that you want. It's in what you actually do and say that the patterns come out, right? So I'm curious, those of you who are listening, which of the 3 do you find that hit you the hardest? Like, oh, I do that. Is it under stress? Go ahead and put a 1. Is it under affection? Put a 2. Or is it under disagreement? Put a 3. Which of the ones do you already see are resonating the most with you, meaning that's probably the most challenging one for you? Number 1 is under stress. Number 2 is under affection. And number 3 is under disagreement. Go ahead and put that in the chat. Even if you're watching in our replay, go ahead and put it in the chat so we can see what your responses are. I know that for me, one of the things that I used to complain the most about in my relationship with Rick was that he didn't help me, that he didn't support me, that I felt so alone. I felt like I was managing everything myself. Thanks to all the ladies who are putting your numbers. I appreciate it. Like, when things were the worst in our relationship, it was because I didn't feel supported. I didn't feel appreciated. I felt overwhelmed doing everything on my own. Things, I did the work. Rick gives me the credit. I'm not just giving myself the credit, but this is what I was saying at the beginning. If you're willing to be responsible for the role you've played, then you get to take all the credit for turning things around. And I worked hard to look at what I was saying and doing that was not giving me the experience that I wanted to have in my marriage. I worked hard to learn how to communicate. Not just, I knew how to talk. Goodness gracious, I was talking his ear off. And I was talking him into a coma, really, in a comatose state. It wasn't the talking. It was what I was saying that wasn't landing. He couldn't hear me. I couldn't connect. And then I felt even more alone. Now, when I did the work to turn all of that around, the same man, same marriage, same home, same kids, we didn't transport ourselves into another location or another realm or another dimension. Now, this happened just this weekend. I had to get some things ready for the Unleashed retreat that we're having next week. Some of you who are here are going to be there. And I had to go to the storage area to see what we had and what we needed to purchase for supplies. And my husband said, "Do you want me to go with you?" Now, did I want him to go with me? Yes. I didn't want to do that by myself. Like, there's a lot of boxes, taking boxes down, looking through things. The first thing that came out of my head was, don't worry about it. Out of my mouth was, don't worry about it. And then I stopped myself and I said, why are you not receiving his help? Well, he had just done the whole backyard. He was, dripping in sweat. And I was like, so I said, don't worry about it. And then he looked up and I said, I could use some help. You just look so tired. He's like, I'll go with you. Both of us together, we'll knock it out in half the time. And I allowed myself to receive. It is still not my natural thing to just receive. It's almost like what kicks in automatically for me is that I can do it. I've got it handled. But then there's a price to pay when you're constantly always the one doing it. I'm very grateful. Like that day I was sore, like even my eyelashes hurt at the end of the day. But I was saying, I'm so grateful my body still moves. But I was like, you know what? It would have been much more painful. And I would have cheated myself. We had so much fun. He was showing me videos while we were there. We were laughing. We were looking at memories of like retreats from years and years ago were in those boxes. And I got those 2.5 hours with my husband, just the two of us in a storage area. And it was like if it was a date. I would have cheated myself out of that. So receiving is still not my first reaction, right? My first reaction is to kind of like say, I got it, because I was so used to doing things on my own for so much of my life, right? So that's what the kind of self-awareness, but it goes beyond self-awareness to I caught myself and then I allowed myself to receive the love and gave myself the unexpected, 2.5 hours of it being really fun in a storage unit with my favorite person in the world, right? So think about your 3 areas, right? Under stress, under affection, and under disagreement. Sometimes when there is a disagreement, it's just yesterday, right? There was one of my sons and my husband were not seeing eye to eye. My husband was really upset. We were all getting ready to go have a fun day. My son's going back to university. So we're going to an escape room. And I could see that my husband was upset and his tendency is to get quiet. And all I said was, what I want more than anything today is to have fun, like for the 4 of us to just laugh together and have fun. That's what I said. I was not agreeing with how he disagreed with my son, and he was wanting to convince me to be on his side. And I said, I agree with you. I'm not in agreement with what he's saying. And I'm also not going to try to convince him and change his mind. That's my choice. I want him to have his freedom to choose for himself. And at first, my husband did not like that I was not backing him up on that. And then 5 minutes later, when I said, all I want today is to have fun, to laugh together, to just be the 4 of us, Team Diaz. And 4 or 5 minutes later, that whole energy had shifted. I wasn't trying to make him do it, but I was being the energy of love, peace, and connection. And that's what showed up. That's why this is so important, because I could have made it that he was ruining the whole day and his whole sulky, funky energy was like going to ruin the whole thing. No, it's like I was going to be what I wanted: laughter, fun, connection, Team Diaz. That's who I was being, and that's what we got. And we had a blast. The 4 of us had such a fun time in that escape room. We had some really our personalities definitely came out, and so did our strengths and weaknesses, right? So why am I sharing all of this with you? Because if you see that under one of those 3 conditions, you tend to like bump up against yourself, and you're not being the kind of partner that with yourself that you would want to be in a relationship and that you would want to have in a relationship, it's important to look and see, okay, who can I be? Who do I want to be? And then what can I do? So before I keep going on, I want to make sure that you have somewhere to actually take this, right? Because if what I'm sharing about these three conditions is hitting close to home, and you've two things. If you've never had a one-on-one call, a conversation with one of our love breakthrough coaches about the places in love and relationships and dating that you keep bumping up against the wall, that you feel like, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep doing the same thing? Why different person, same results, right? Dating a different person or being in relationship with a different person, I'm getting the same results. And you never had a love breakthrough, what we call a love breakthrough session, I want to invite you to do that, because this is a real conversation where we help you to see what your pattern is and what the first step towards breaking that actually is for you. A lot of times we give you 2 or 3 steps that you can take, but it's actually taking a look at what is the actual pattern that shows up and giving you the steps for how to break that. So if you've never had a love breakthrough session with one of our coaches and you want to go deeper on tonight's topic, we're going to go ahead and drop the link in the chat. Click on that link, look at for a time and a day that works for you, and schedule that love breakthrough session. I'm telling you, lives have changed. People have had the biggest miracles of their lives on those calls. And if you're already thinking, well, the conversation would be nice, but I know I need more than one conversation. Like I want to build this. I want to break through this. I need somebody to show me how to do that. Then stay with me, because I'm going to go into it a little bit later. I'm going to tell you exactly where to do that before we're done tonight, but I'll just give you a sneak peek, which is that we're going to have a 3-day event called the Irresistible Woman Live. The reason it's called the Irresistible Woman Live is how do you become that woman who naturally magnetizes, attracts the kind of partner that you want to have and spend the rest of your life with. So we're going to spend 3 days diving into how to be that woman, how to become that woman who easily attracts a partner who's a perfect match for her vision and her values. And if that's something you know that you want to accelerate your attraction factor, you want to be in that relationship of your dreams by the end of the year, and if you're already in a relationship that you want to stay, you want to keep that love growing stronger, deeper over the years, then go ahead and drop the letters IWL in the chat, in the comments below. If you want to have early access to all of the details when they become available, which is very, very soon. It's very, very soon. We're going to give you all the details for this year's IWL. Go ahead and drop IWL in the chat so that you get the first dibs on what the event is going to look like. It's going to look a little bit different this year than any other year. So go ahead and drop those letters in the chat. All right. So I want to be going back to the 3 conditions and this gap that we're closing tonight. I want to be really clear about what this is not. So when you are looking at being and becoming the person that you want to be, the kind of partner you want to be, so you can attract the kind of partner you want to have, it's not another list of things that you need to fix before you're worthy of the kind of love that you want. You are already worthy. You are worthy because you were born worthy. There isn't anything that you have to do to earn your worthiness. Okay? This is about recognizing that extraordinary love is not something where the right man simply poof, like, the genie in the bottle arrives, and that he creates it for you, that he creates extraordinary love for you. That's not how it works. Extraordinary love, real love, true love is something that 2 people build on purpose together. And the skills that create a happy, loving relationship are not the same ones that create your success in business or in your career, right? In your career, in your business, independence, capability, managing everything, making sure you're on top of everything and everyone. Those skills work really great at work, but those same skills can actually work against you in love if they run unchecked. And if you're, I used this analogy, I think 2 weeks ago, where you're trying to hit the right target with the wrong tool. You're throwing a cotton swab at the target instead of an arrow. It's just not going, first of all, it's not going to land literally. It's probably not even going to reach there, but it's not going to give you the results that you want. So the goal isn't to turn off the skills that work in your career or in your business. That's not the goal. It's to know when they're helping you and when they're just protecting you from being truly seen and known and loved, reached, right? Accessed, that the love that you want can actually reach you. So it's not about never using those skills. It's about using them when it's appropriate and then not using it when it's not, which is usually on a date, in a loving relationship, in a relationship where you want intimacy and connection, because that goal is different than the goals that you want in your business, in your career. Okay. So if this is landing, if you're getting it, go ahead and drop getting it, right? Or put got it in the chat, because it's really, really important that you understand the difference between having a checklist of things that somebody else needs to be, have, do, and looking to see, who do I want to be? How do I want to be? How do I want to communicate? Who do I want to be when I'm under stress, when I'm under affection, or where I'm under disagreement? Who is it that I want to be? The kind of woman that I want to be. That's so important. So I promised you that I was going to give you 3 questions at the end of the session that you can actually ask yourself. And so I'm going to give them to you again. If you were writing something, if you have your computer in front of you or your phone, make sure you take it out so you can have these questions. We'll also put them below in the chat. So before you go to bed tonight, before you call it a day, go ahead and ask yourself these 3 things. Number 1, the last time I was hurt in a relationship, did I say what I needed to say, or what I needed? So did I say it, or did I go quiet? So the last time that I was hurt in a relationship, in a conversation, it could have been on a date as well. Did I say what I needed? Did I say what I wanted? Or did I go quiet? That's the first question. Second question, I'm going to go ahead and drop them because I didn't give them to Ali ahead of time. So I'm going to go ahead and drop them now. Okay. So the second question is, the last time that someone offered me affection or appreciation, did I take it in, or did I deflect and push it away? So the last time that someone offered me real affection or appreciation, did I take it in, or did I deflect it, push it away, like brush it off? And then, oops, I don't know why it came out as two questions. The third question is, the last time someone offered me, the last time I disagreed. So remember, it's the first one is during stress, which is when you were hurt. The second one is during affection, right? Under affection. The third one is the last time I disagreed with someone I love or care about, did I stay curious, or did I go into protecting myself? Did I stay curious, or did I go into protecting myself? So make sure you ask yourself these questions. Drop it again. Actually, I'm going to give it to you, Ali, and put it in our chat.
Gladys,
because for some reason it's coming across like really not formatted. So give me just a second, everyone.
You're glitching, Gladys. I got the chat.
You got it? Did it come? It just looks like, anyway, I'm trusting you. All right. I'm going to receive Ali's support as I wrap this up. All right. So those 3 questions, right? Did I say what I wanted to say, or did I shut down? When somebody offered me affection, did I receive it easily, graciously, or did I deflect it and push it away? And when I disagreed with someone, did I stay curious, connected, or did I go into protecting and defending myself, right? You don't have to fix anything tonight. just want you to ask yourself these questions so that you can see clearly what is standing, like what's blocking you, what's in that gap between the partner you want to be and the partner you want to attract into your life. Okay. You can't build something new on top of an old pattern that you refuse to look at. Trying to build something new on top of something old just gives you shaky, wobbly, insecure foundation. You want a strong foundation. So you want to see what it is that's in the way and then learn how to break through it and what to replace it with so that you have not just broken the pattern, but also you've replaced it with something that works. Right? So if this foundation is landing and you're realizing that you're ready to actually build this, to actually not just think about it, but actually start breaking through and creating the partnership within yourself that will attract to yourself, and you've never had a love breakthrough session, make sure that you want to go deeper on this topic, please
Gladys,
make
you're
sure that
really
you click
glitchy.
the link that we're dropping into the chat now, because that is the best way to have a one-on-one with somebody who can hear what it is that's been happening. The other day I was having one of these sessions with someone, and we uncovered a pattern that she had not seen. She had not seen a pattern that kept coming up over and over and over again, where the context was it's me versus them in everything, whether it was her versus her husband, her versus her kid. She had to sacrifice so somebody else could be happy. There was this, it's either me or them. It was all over her life. Once she saw it, she could not unsee it. And then we had the love breakthrough session to really have her break through in a powerful way. I'm so happy to say she chose to step into the Keeping the Love Alive program, because that's what's going to transform her marriage. That's what's going to transform her family. She doesn't have to try to figure it out or piece it together from books and videos. She's going to get the exact steps that she needs to create the life and the love that she wants, the family that her heart desires. So make sure you have one of those, that if you haven't had a session, that you're not going to be invited into the program if we don't think that we would be able to help you. The call is going to be valuable whether you choose to step in or not. Obviously, the people who are ready and want to accelerate their results, they say, how can I learn how to do this and do this now? But either way, you're going to get a really powerful conversation. And as I said earlier, if you're ready to remove those barriers that are standing in the way of creating the love that you want to accelerate your attraction factor, you want to be in the relationship of your dreams by the end of this year, then the Irresistible Woman Live is exactly where you want to be, because that's where we go deeper into these kinds of conversations. We have 3 entire days where all we're doing is breaking apart everything that's not working in your life and teaching you who you can be and what you can do differently so that you can have the love that you want. And it doesn't have to take 50 years, 40 years, 30. It doesn't have to take decades. Give us 3 days, you get the rest of your life in a happy, loving relationship. So we're also, just go ahead and put IWL for Irresistible Woman Live, IWL, in the chat so that we can send you the details. We're going to give the details first to everybody who's been putting the last few weeks on the love chats, has been putting IWL in the chat. That's who's going to hear it first. We're going to honor our word on that. Okay. So make sure that you put that. And then I'm going to leave you with this. The right man is not just waiting somewhere for you to become perfect. He's not waiting for you to be perfect. This isn't about perfection. He's out there living his life right now. He's out there praying, looking for the woman who's a match for him. Just like you're over here praying for the man who's right for you. He wants someone who matches him, his vision, and his values, just like you want somebody who matches you, your vision, and your values. So your job is not to be perfect or flawless. It's to become someone who can actually attract and receive the partnership that you've been asking for, praying for, dreaming of, right? And that's what we build inside of Heart's Desire. That is our purpose. The whole purpose of the company is to help you do that. And that's why what you'll see for yourself next Tuesday on the next Love Chat, and for sure at the Irresistible Woman Live when you join us for that. And we'll be here next Tuesday, same time, same place, with another topic that's going to transform you, your love life, and the rest of your life. That's our intention. I declare it, I decree it, and it is so. And until our hearts meet again, always remember that you are loved. Goodbye for now.